Okay, we're back with another TierMaker video. I really like making these, so I'm going to keep doing it until you guys tell me to stop. Although I probably won't stop even if you do tell me to stop, because I just really enjoy sitting down and talking about places. So, today we're going to be ranking arbitrarily chosen Quebec cities. This is a tier list maker, again, on TierMaker.com. This one was made by Detroit Andre. So thank you for making it. It's pretty accurate. These are pretty random. Obviously, got Montreal and Quebec City. I can make out all these. I know what all these different cities are, even though the pictures are cut out in most of them. So, yeah. So I got 5 tiers again: best, good, okay, bad, and no idea. These are just gonna be the ones that I really haven't either been to or don't really know much about. Just giving a quick look at the list, there's not too many that I'm going to have nothing to say about. I think maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most. But yeah, so let's just get started. You know what? This time, let's go from the last one to the first one. We usually go from first to last. Let's go from last to first. So, first one for this video, Victoriaville. I have been to Victoriaville. I'm trying to think. Once for, I believe it was for a hockey tournament or something when I was a lot younger. It seems alright. You know, it's in a decent location in between Montreal and Quebec City. They do have a Q team there, the Tigers or the TIG, and it seems like overall like a not a bad small city in Quebec. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put an okay. I got nothing really wrong with it. Next up we have La Tuque. So this is up. Oh, I'm trying to think. La Tuque's up. It's sort of like a little southwest of like in Lac Saint Jean region, up that way. I've never actually been, so this is gonna be the ones I have. I don't really know. Haven't been, can't really comment. I know it's more of a northern town, but yeah, no real comment on that one. Next up we have Sagne. I really honestly enjoyed Sagne for the 2 times I've been up there. So I've been up there twice. It was both 2 consecutive years I went up there, and it was both times it was in November. One time it was like one of the first weeks in November, and the next year after that it was one of the last weeks in November. I believe it was actually the American Thanksgiving Black Friday weekend. That's around the time I went up to Sagne. Now, it's a lot bigger than what you would think. You know, it's about 2 hours north, straight shot north of Quebec City. The highway up there, to go up there, I believe it's the 173, is really nice. Not in a snowstorm. We drove back in a snowstorm from Sagne. Not a fun time, but when the weather's clear, it's a really nice highway. It's about 5 hours northeast of Montreal. You have to go up through Quebec City and take the straight shot up. Or there's a highway, or a Quebec provincial highway that leads up from Shawinigan, I believe. Really cool region. It's super, super French. So if you only speak English, it'd probably be kind of hard for you to communicate up there with a lot of the locals. But people up there are really nice. Outdoors. For like outdoorsy people, it looks like a really cool region. You know, lots of hiking, the lake obviously up there. I would like to go back in the summer and see what it's like. I have a friend who I grew up playing hockey with, actually, who he moved up there and he bought a house, and he absolutely loves it up there. And it seems like, honestly, it would be a pretty good place to live. It'd be a little too isolated for my liking, but apparently it's a pretty good place. Next up, we have Saint Louis de Haha. So, I learned the other day, I saw it on a post on Instagram on one of the geography pages I follow, that this is one of 2 places in the world that use exclamation points in the name of the town, and is the only one in the world that uses 2. I've driven, by it, through it countless times, because you do it when you're going on the 85, or I guess what formerly used to be the 185 before they twinned the highway leading from like Rivière-du-Loup to Edmundston, New Brunswick. Haven't really spent any time, don't know a ton about it. Just seems like a tiny little typical small town in Quebec, so I'm just going to give it an okay. The name is awesome, obviously. It's one of the coolest named places on the planet, in my opinion. Next up we have Laval. Now, I've spent a very good amount of time in Laval. The last 2 years I have spent these summers working in Laval. I've driven all over Laval, and thing with Laval, and I guess Montreal too, you either like one, like the other, you don't like both, and obviously that doesn't go for everyone, but I am not a fan of Laval. Carrefour is overrated. Just gonna put that out there. It's not all that. Laval Rocket, that is cool. I do like going to Place Belle. It's a really nice arena. But driving Laval sucks. And in my opinion, everything about Laval sucks, but I'm obviously biased. I just hate the traffic there. Next up, Chambly. I've been to Chambly once. It was to go test drive a car. I drove over an hour to get there, and traffic, of course, on the 30, that especially because usually you take the 30 and then you go down at one of the different highways or whatever to get down to Chambly, and the traffic on that part of the 30 out in like the Longueuil Brassard area, horrible, pain to get to. It seems like a decent little town. There's not much that I really know about it. Seemed all right, wasn't like run down or anything. I'm just gonna put it in okay. I got nothing against it really. Next up, Carignan, I think is how you pronounce it. Never been, or if I have been, I was unaware that I have been. Know nothing about it. It's gonna be the second one that goes into the no idea tier, and I'm just doing that because I don't want to unfairly rank something that I really have no personal connection to. Next up, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. I've been 3 times, I think, and you know what? It's the more I look at it on a map and think about it, it's pretty decent. Location-wise, it's not far from Montreal. It's not far from the American border. It's got everything you would need in terms of amenities. It's a really good size. Of course, there's the military base there, and you know what? It's not bad. I'm gonna put it in okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I know for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that really don't like it down there, but I got nothing against it. So I'm just going to go in the OK tier. Next up, we have Sherbrooke. I've only been to Sherbrooke a couple times. The last time I was in the area, I drove through it I believe it was in May. I was coming back to Montreal from Maine, so you go right around the whole city. The Eastern Townships are widely regarded as one of the coolest regions, like scenery-wise, of the entire province, and you can't really disagree there. There's a lot of cool scenery. It seems like, it's a really grown-up city in recent years. There's everything you would absolutely need there. The weather is a lot different in the Eastern Townships than it is from, let's say, the Montreal area or even the Quebec City area. So I'm going to put Sherbrooke in good. I got nothing really against it. Don't know enough about it to say it's awesome or that it's bad, but from the limited time I've spent in Sherbrooke, it's honestly, it's not bad. Rivière-du-Loup is what I would consider the perfect sort of, I don't even know what you would call it, entryway into Quebec if you're coming from the Maritimes. It's about an hour past the Quebec-New Brunswick border to the west, right on the fleuve. Pretty decent size, got a nice sort of downtown area. It's where the highway splits between 20 and the 85, if you're going to continue up to Rimouski, if you're going to go east towards New Brunswick. I've stopped there a lot of times on my drives out east, and it's nice. It's a nice little city. That's what I think. Ooh, the next two are gonna be fun. Quebec, best. I mean, Quebec City is just awesome. Especially like downtown. You go into Vieux, Quebec. It is the most historic place in all of Canada, in my opinion. Anyways, it's just founded in 1608. And a lot of the original architecture is there. You can stay in some hotels in the old brick buildings. The Chateau Frontenac's incredible. You love everything about Quebec. In terms of living there, I don't think I would want to live in Quebec City. Winters are a lot harsher than Montreal. Obviously, there's not as much English, and as English being my first language, I think Montreal is better for me. I've got nothing against all the French or anything like that, but it is I would say it's the best place in Quebec to visit, absolutely. Next up, we have Montreal. This might be controversial, but I believe Montreal is the best city in Canada. You get absolutely everything in it. I'm obviously very biased. I've grown up in Montreal most of my life, but it is one of the most culturally diverse, architecturally beautiful cities in Canada and honestly in North America. We have world-class food, entertainment. Montreal Canadiens are there. It's the best hockey team ever. Obviously, I'm in this current stage of the 2022 season. I am joking, but I love Montreal and everything about it. Obviously, there's a lot not to love about it as well. Like, for one, construction, and then some of the stuff that's going on in the real world. But objectively, Montreal is the best city in Canada. Change my mind. Next up, the last one that I have no idea about, Varennes. All I know, locations on the south shore, just north of Longueuil. Not much going on up there from my knowledge. But if you're from Varennes or you've been or you know anything about it, let me know. But I have no idea. Drummondville, it's okay. It's kind of a good halfway point between Montreal and Quebec City on the 20. Not quite halfway, but pretty much. Got everything you would need. It's no real skyline. It's sort of spread out. It kind of just feels like a giant suburb from the highway. Lots of business, obviously. They got the Q team there. Although I must say the Voltigeurs arena is horrible for a Q arena, especially of a city of that size in Drummondville. But it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Lots of good stopping places if you're on a road trip or whatever. And yeah, it's not bad. Traffic, though, in Drummondville is when it really starts to pick up from there on to Montreal. So traffic and driving in Drummondville is not the greatest. Brassard's an interesting one. I quite like Brassard. It's grown up significantly in the last, ever since really the Habs built their practice facility in Brassard. It's grown up a lot. Like, you got the District shopping area, which is incredible. It's one of the best shopping areas in the Montreal area, if not the best. And if you drive by on the 30, if you're coming in from the 10, to go to the Champlain, all the huge condo and office buildings going up, I could see it in 20 years from now being a really good sized city. And especially if they start, what would be the word, just really developing it into having a focused downtown. I think it would be a pretty cool city. So I do quite like Brassard. St. Lambert, I actually almost went to Sagne up in St. Lambert at what's it called, Champlain. It's in St. Lambert, the Longueuil area. Just to me, I just see St. Lambert as an extension of Longueuil, so there's nothing wrong with it. Give it an okay. I don't know terribly much about it, but yeah, it's okay. Candiac is really old, and especially, I'm going to put it in the bad tier. It's really old, I find, and especially when it's in an area close to the Longueuil, Brassard on the south, off the South Shore, but it's also not far from the Châteauguay area. I just find it really old. I played hockey there a bunch when I was younger, and I never really liked going there, so I'm just going to put it in the bad. And then again, objectively, I could be completely wrong. It could be a terrific place, but to me, I don't really care for it that much. Gatineau. Unpopular. I like Gatineau. If I were to live in the Ottawa area, I would pick to live on the Gatineau side. Yes, I would soak the higher taxes and the higher cost of living to live in Gatineau. I think Gatineau is a terrific city. Obviously, the downtown, there's not much going on. It's kind of all just government buildings and stuff. But I do have a soft spot for Gatineau. I do quite like it, and probably going to get some hate for that because for whatever reason, people seem to hate Gatineau. Next up, Trois-Rivières or Three Rivers. It's okay. I've been there quite a bit for hockey growing up. Common theme here. You can tell I probably played hockey. But Trois-Rivières, downtown's not bad. There's some cool festivals and stuff in the summer. I've really only ever, I guess I've been in the summer and the spring, but the winters there is cool. They do get a decent amount of snow. UQTR is a really good school. We've got one of the best hockey teams there in the country for U Sports. But yeah, it's okay. There's nothing really wrong with it. I don't think I'd ever really want to live there, but to visit or just to drive through, it's not bad. Next up, we have Longueuil. See, I get mixed feelings about Longueuil because driving through it, absolute nightmare. Hate driving through it. The roads are horrible. You're going into the city or you're leaving the city. It's the first place you're going to see. Highway, horrible. The local roads just within the city, awful. But there are some really, really nice housing developments and neighborhoods going up in Longueuil. It's sort of a mix. They're combining the old part with the new part, and it is quite nice. So I can't put it in bad. I'm just going to put it in okay. There's some things I really like about it, but there's also some things I really don't like about it, so I'll leave it at that. La Prairie, same thing as Candiac. Literally the same thing. Really old, at least from the time I've been there. I haven't been there in a number of years, so it could have changed, but from what I remember, never really liked going there. And Châteauguay, bad. I've never liked Châteauguay. I spent a significant amount of time going to Châteauguay. Played a lot of hockey there, and just driving through it, when you get off the Mercier and then finally enter in on that stretch after going through Kahnawake, it's not nice. I don't like that one strip that leads just out to the 30. It I don't know, it just feels like, you know, those you see those pictures where like this is the most American looking town, where you just got the strip and it's all gas stations, fast food, car dealerships, stuff like that. That's what I think of when I think of Châteauguay, and I've really learned to not like that sort of design in a town or a little city where everything is just on one big stretch of road. Not really the biggest fan of that. But you know, the people in Châteauguay are really, really nice. I've had a lot of friends from Châteauguay, and a lot of like the housing developments in the Châteauguay area are really nice, so I gotta give it that. But just that one sort of stretch, I don't even know what the road is called, or it might be even numbered as like, it's the 138, right? I think. Anyways, doesn't matter. Not really a fan. So it looks like we got to the end of the list. This is my final ranking. Obviously, if I were to think about it or talk about it more, I could probably switch around a couple places. But this is overall what I think. I don't think it's overly controversial. Obviously, having Montreal and Quebec City in this list is not really fair to the rest of these places, because they're obviously the best. But yeah, that's what I think. So did you guys enjoy listening to me rant about places in Quebec? Obviously, I've spent the most amount of time in my life in Quebec, so I know pretty decent amount about the geography of the province. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I can continue to make more of these. I honestly really, it's probably my favorite type of video to make. I can just sit down and have an open conversation with you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.